Joining me now at Edgar Street is Peter Beadle. It's a question of keeping at it today.
Yeah, it was always going to be tough, I think, because you look at their last 5 results and they've lost by the odd goal to some teams that we've seen recently, and they've done extremely well. So we knew it was going to be a tough game. The fact they haven't played for 10 days, 2 weeks almost as well, so they've had a bit of a rest, and we obviously only played 48 hours ago, so it was always going to be tough. And I said to the lads just before the game that the biggest thing that stands out for me today is complacency. We need to make sure we don't have any of it, because they haven't had a game. They've had a bit of a rest. They've been a decent side. They've been tough to beat recently, and so we've got to make sure we're on our mettle, and we weren't quite at it. First half, disappointed, but certainly second half we were much better and much more fluent, and like I said, the goals we scored, and it could have been more.
And were you worried when they equalised? Because for 10 minutes after that I thought they bossed the game. Yeah,
I thought they played well. They had some lively forwards, and we didn't know. We know how to do it, but it's asking them. I just said to them after the game, then why do we wait till half time for us to explain to you what to do to nullify the threat? Because they know what to do. And you can't shout it on to all the people, so to all of them at the same time. So we did something about it at half time, and they weren't a threat at all second half, because we just changed, and it's very small changes to the way we play, where we show them stuff like that, and it's very small stuff. So I just said to them then, why do we have to shout it on? There's enough experience, there's enough young leaders out there. Willits has been a captain, Summers has been a captain, Benella's been a captain, Edwards is the captain, Purds and Greenlee have got mounts of experience. So why do we have to wait till half time to put it right? They should know what they're doing. So, but they did, and I thought they were excellent. I thought the little lad in the hole, I think he had the 10 on. I thought the 7. I thought a pair of them were excellent, very sharp, lively. They're very dynamic, and they caused us problems today. But like I said, we managed to see it through to half time, and then made a few changes positionally, as in where and where not to be. And like I said, second half it was a completely different game.
Is it a question as well of pressing the opposition and making them make mistakes?
It's exactly what we said. Is that they were causing us a problem with their player in the pocket, in the hole behind the front man, and the way to stop him from being a problem is stop the ball getting to him. So to do that, we've got to press a little bit further up the pitch. And our midfield too found it hard today, because they weren't sure whether to press the midfield players, but they were worried about the fan in the pocket. So we needed to close the gaps between the back line and the midfield player, so that nullifies his threat, if you like. Second half we did it, and I don't think he got a game. He hardly got a kick second half. So again, it's about everyone doing it and everyone understanding what it is we're trying to do. And they got it second half, and we did it, and we put it into effect, because they're intelligent footballers here and they know what we're talking about. And we put it into effect, and like I said, they weren't a threat at all second half.
How pleased were you that you've got more than 100 goals now? But that was a mark that tells everybody, hey, Hereford are flying.
Oh, I think the fact we were 24 on the bounce before today says everyone would say we're flying. I mean, I'd have been happy with 24 1-0s. That do me, But like I said, we have got players that will score goals, and they're a threat. And as I said about Saturday, I was really surprised with the way that Westfield set up to play against us. And we showed what we're capable of. And today was a little bit different. But again, you've seen the threat of our front four and what they can achieve, and that was with 1 or 2 not playing. Joe's been playing with a problem, and he didn't have his best game today, but he was effective. And he's had a bit of a problem with his foot, which he's carrying at the moment. So we're trying to manage it as best we can with game time and stuff to keep him sharp. But he did look a bit flat today at times. But the other 2 up front, and obviously Moose out wide, I thought they were excellent today. And obviously we've got Simo and Nathan as well to come into it if we need them.
And a word about the pitch, and a word for the groundsman, and getting these 2 games on over Christmas.
I think the pitch.
I think it was better today than Boxing Day.
Well, I think 1 or 2 looked like they lost their footing a little bit, but as you're looking at it now, it looks like no one's played on it. It looks fantastic. So and I know how hard they work here with Ben and the chap that works with him, who I can't remember his name, which will go down well, I know, but they do work extremely hard. They were here Christmas Day, to have 2 games in 40 hours at home. Bearing in mind that there's been so many games in our division called off recently, to play 2 so close together and the pitch hardly like it's been used has been fantastic, and it provides the players with a sort of surface that we need to play the way we want to play. And hopefully, if the weather stays good, it will be like this to the end of the season. But they've put in a great shift over Christmas, and like I said, the pitch has been fantastic.
Now you go into the new year top of the tree. How much more do you need, you feel, within the squad?
I wouldn't have said a huge amount at the moment. I mean, obviously we've got Sadiq to come back yet as well.
What happened to Mike Simmons as well today? Could you
Yeah, he's just a rest. Just needs a rest. He hasn't played a lot of games before he came. Then all of a sudden he's played a cluster of games. Yeah. So he just needs a breather. And like I said, and that's, as I said on Saturday, you look at we had 3 changes from the game, but I thought second half was as good a performance as the whole game on Saturday was. So even with 1 or 2 changes, it doesn't weaken us at the moment. But Mike was away. But like I said, we've got Sadiq to come back yet. We've still got Carlos and Max that weren't used again today. We've got Nathan who's come on off the bench. So we've got plenty of numbers at the moment. Obviously, you're always looking to improve. So if something came along, then we would maybe look into it if we could fit it in. But right now, obviously, it's tough to come and play here because who would want to come and sit on the bench? It's not ideal. But we have some fantastic players here, and the ones that have been on the bench again today, they understand now more than ever about, if we're going to achieve, this is not just about this season, this is about next season and the season after that, and the whole progress of the football club as a whole, and it's the bigger picture. So obviously every player wants to play every week. My job is to try and keep as many of them as happy as I can to keep them here and are hungry. But as you've seen today, Robbo's come on and looked hungry. Dylan's played today and looked good. Joe's come back in the fold today. Nathan's come back in and was exceptional. So so we're looking at, and these are young boys as well. These are 20-year-old boys that are, so they're stepping up to the plate at the minute. And like I said, it's not easy to keep bringing players in. But if we feel we need to, then we will. But we've played 2 games over Christmas, so we've gained more games over other teams that haven't played and games that have been called off. And as the weeks go by, it's going to be tougher and tougher because certainly for other teams, because they're going to have to be playing more and more games in a smaller time period. We've got the games on the board already, and that's been down to a lot of hard work by the grounds people here, and also the benefit of when you take 200, 300, 400 people away from home, they don't want to call the games off. So so the game, they've worked hard to make sure the pitches have been okay for us to play on, and we've gone to some grounds where the pitches have been just about playable, and we've got results, which has shown a different side to us. So we've got the games on the board, we've got the points in the bag, and now it's up to the rest to catch us. And we know we've got a big January. We've got the Vars game, we've got Wolfrunians on Saturday, which is not going to be easy. They beat Calcer this weekend. We've got obviously the Old Church game, so we've got to go to Coventry again at the end of the month. So we've got Calcer. We've got a fantastic month coming up, and one to look forward to. And who knows, at the end of January we might have an even clearer picture of what's going to happen. But we've got the games and the points in the bag, and that's up to the rest to catch us. And it's up to us to make sure we maintain what we're doing.
Brilliant. Thanks very much.
Okay, no problem.